2 days to do half as much work as machine drills can do, for 3 to 4 feet or so. But the machine drills, at least that little one that's closest to us, called the Gardner Denver jackleg, you can drill a 7-foot deep hole in 8 minutes. You can actually go faster, but of course when you're underground, you gotta be careful. You're gonna watch the drillings the whole time because those things can kill you. Pretty dangerous equipment down here. But you can accomplish a hole pattern like this, so 25 7-foot deep holes, in probably about 3 hours with that little jackleg. And you're gonna be using hole patterns. This is for controlled blasting, controlled destruction. Just like if you were demolishing a building, you want to collapse in on itself. You don't want to take out the whole block around it. Same idea here. So you use a hole pattern. These came around, or they're set into paper, I guess, about 1915 or so. Before then, they were just using the hole patterns according to the rock. Everything's according to the rock, by the way. How crumbly it is, how wet, the texture of it, what they're even mining into. And the purpose of what they're doing, if they're doing a crosscut, haulage route, or if they're mining in a stope, getting the ore itself out. It all changes depending on the rock, but basically all works the same. You're gonna start right in the center and spiral your way on out. So, mining cycle, you drill, you blast, and then you muck. First you start with the drilling, so you're gonna approach your face, or your heading, which is what we're standing in front of here, the stuff you're going to be drilling into. And you and your partner start drilling away. Once you get close to the end, you're going to send your partner over to the powder magazine, and they're going to ask the powder monkey, the guy in charge, to help you get enough explosives for whatever cut you're doing. Usually it's about 150 sticks of dynamite, plus all the fuse and the blasting caps you're going to need. So they're going to come back, and by the time they come back, you should be finished drilling, and all these holes will be cleaned out with water and get all the dust out of there, so that way it's ready for you to load. And your partner and yourself are going to start taking sticks of dynamite out of the box, and you warm them up in your hands, because dynamite is like sandy Play-Doh wrapped in wax paper. So you can soften it up a little bit, and you need it soft, so you can poke a hole in the side, feed the blasting cap into that, and then feed your fuse into the blasting cap. Then you tie it all together, you cram it into the hole with your wooden loading stick. If you're caught using a piece of metal or a drill steel or something like that, then you would definitely be fired, and that's if you didn't prematurely blow yourself up, sending a spark down the hole. So you tamp it down with your wooden loading stick. You follow it up with 5 more sticks of dynamite. Because each of these holes are going to get 6 sticks of dynamite. And then that hole's ready. You continue on for all the rest of them. And then when you get to your lifters, they get 10 sticks of dynamite each, because they need to lift all 34 to 40 tons of rock outside of your new lead. It just throws it all out. Much easier to shovel that way. And then, once they're all loaded up, you're going to have 5 feet of fuse sticking out all these holes. Take off 18 inches off your center. That's your cut. That's what you start with. And then you're ready to time all the rest out using the spitter boards. Just a way to organize. Not all the miners here in Bisbee use spitter boards, but if you're new, you're definitely using them. Next one after that is going to be 1/2 inch longer than the previous one. You cut it 1/2 inch longer. That gives you 1 to 3 seconds between each blast, because all these fuses burn at about 1 foot every 40 seconds. Once they're all on here, you sandwich it together, and it holds it, so that way you can move on to the next set of fuses. You're gonna have a bunch of these little spitter boards. You're gonna tease them apart, because you only have about a minute or so to light all 21 fuses in this case. And your partner is gonna stand by with a couple of these spitter rods. This is a welding rod, but they look very similar to actual hot wires. And they work like sparklers, but instead of pre-sparks, it just is a hot flame that shoots out of there. Because you're not using a bunch of matches to light all this, you're gonna use your hot wire. So your partner is gonna hold a couple of these while you light them up, because they need to go off in order, one at a time. So if you're both lighting fuses, it's gonna mess everything up. So only one person's lighting the fuses. You hit the fuse, jet flame will shoot out of there, a bunch of smoke, because these are black powder. That's how you know it's lit. You go on down the line until all 21 are lit up. And if you did everything right, you should have about 5 minutes to get away. But you don't have to go very far, only about 15 feet if you can go around a corner. But of course, you don't really want to be that close, so you probably go around to the end of the drift, and then you send your partner the other way, because you're blasting at the end of your shift. You don't actually come back to clean up the mess you made. That's actually the responsibility of opposite shift coming in after you. You actually get to go home after you're done blasting, but so does everybody else. So there's a lot of people walking around trying to get to these stations like we're next to here, so that way they can load up onto the cage and get out of the mines and go home. And if you're not guarding your shot, keeping people from walking in front of your blast, they're going to get blown up. Explosives, number 3 cause of death here in Bisbee. It's pretty serious, so you gotta be careful with it. I can kind of simulate about how loud it would be. So if we were all back by the train, it'd be about this loud. The only thing I can't demonstrate is what you would feel. You'd feel it more than you would hear it actually. It'd be about this loud. And you want to count each one of these blasts. Because if you miss a hole, you're not the one who's coming back. So you gotta warn the next people coming in that there's still live dynamite in the ball. You gotta warn your shift boss, guy in charge of you in your shift, and you report it to the office at the surface. Make sure everybody knows who's coming in, that there's live dynamite in the wall. Then they can set off at the beginning of their shift or clean it out with water. And a big spoon, non-sparking metal spoon, of course. This is a big copper spoon. Probably don't really want to eat cereal with that, but you want to clean out dynamite with it. Any questions about blasting? All right, well, we have about 5 minutes to be in there, so we'll go in there real quick.